This section here I think is going to somewhat be repeat of what you'd already done before with like adding and subtracting and things like that, but perhaps we're giving you numbers that are a little bit more confusing now. They don't perfectly work out. So what I'm trying to get at is this. You can add numbers to the right of, so right is my first word, of a decimal point. Maybe decimal PT, without changing the value of the number. Now, thank you, sir. Now, you have to be a little careful where you put it. But what I'm trying to say is, for my first example here, 0.5, that's the same as if I were to do I could do the 0 in front if you want to, but 0.50. Now, I can add a 0 here, that one, and it's still 1/2, right? It's still 0.5, essentially. Or you could, if you wanted to, say 0.500, or even put like a third or a fourth 0. But you could add a bunch of zeros at the end of a number to the right of a decimal point and not change the value, not change the amount of the number. Fair enough? Okay, so now if we go down to one like this example 2, so this is something, I don't know what grade you officially learn problems like that in, but we're going to have numbers where they don't perfectly line up. But if you have 5.71, if you're going to take and kind of like add these the old way where you do like plus and so on, you have to have the decimal points lined up, like one right above, one right below the other. So then the 3 would be under the 5, the 8 would be under the 7 for my 3.8. And you could add a 0 after the 8. Agreed? Yeah. Is this just total review? Have you guys done this before? Okay. Okay. My guess was it wasn't going to be anything like new and super confusing, but I'm kind of new to the teaching middle school bit. So now we do 1 plus 0 is 1. And 7 plus 8 is
15.
So we have the 5. We put the little 1 up above. Now we copy down the decimal point, right? All those decimal points, addition, subtraction, just stay right in the line.
Yes, sir.
And then we have 5 plus 3
9.
plus the other 1 is 9.
Is it 9.8?
So kind of the chaos on the Friday is what I was talking to right there, but are you with me? Hopefully not talking over each other too much. The next one, subtraction, is the same thing. I'm going to take and just move this 1.1 down below, so I have minus, but you have to line up the decimal points.
Wait, don't you just
So-
add a 0 behind?
Wait, don't you have to write your
And then,
the decimal
so then you could take and put a 0 after the 1 like that. Questions? Thank you for raising your hand.
To do that part up there, you must line up the decimal point.
Oh, I didn't fill in the line, did I? It's too excited to do the work. Okay, you must line up the decimal point. Good call. Point when adding and subtracting numbers. And now we have subtraction, so we do 9 minus 0 is 9. And then we do 2 minus 1 is 1. Then we write in our decimal point, and then 4 minus 1 is 3. So we have 3.19 for final answer there. Questions? I don't know if you want to take a stab at the last two. This last 3, but if you want to work ahead of me, go for it. I'm going to take and rewrite this one here to 8.4. Minus, when we write the other one, we need to line up the decimal points. So the 3 has to go under the 8, and a 6, 7. So the difference in this one is the 0 is in the number that's on top. And we can't easily do a 0 minus 7, right? So we have to borrow. Exactly. So we borrow from the 4. That becomes a 3. The 0 then becomes 10. And now we can say 10 minus 7 is 3. And now we have, okay, so we're good there. Now we have 3 minus 6. We can't do that either, can we? Borrow from the 8. Okay, so now the 8 becomes a 7. Perfect. So we add 10 onto that 3. So now we have a 13 minus 6 is 7. Copy the decimal point straight down below. And last but not least, 7 minus 3? 4. So 4.73. So that's kind of a tough one. You have like the double borrowing. We okay on that one?
Yep.
No question on that? All right. Next one is going to be the same type of thing, but we're taking the last chapter and kind of combining it with this chapter. If I want to get x by itself, what do I have to do?
Divided by minus plus.
Yep. Yep, because look at what was done to x. They subtracted 4.92, so we're going to add 4.92. And that'll get x by itself. But if we want to keep it equal, if we add 4.92 to the left, we have to
Add the 0.
add
4.92.
add 4.92 to the right. So now we need to go and add those together, and maybe I'll actually just kind of move it over a tiny bit. Maybe try to do it right here. So plus 4 goes under my 8. I have my 9 and my 2. So it's a little bit crowded there. All right, so then we just go and add these together. You could add a 0 here at the end. If you want to, that helps you feel a little better about it. So we have 0 plus 2 now is 2. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. So we put a 0, carry the 1, right? Then copy that decimal point down. And then 1 plus 8 plus 4 is 13. So I'm going to have to squeeze it in a little bit. But so x is 13.02, or perhaps I should put a box around the whole thing. But so that's our x value. So example 5. We okay on those?
Yep.
So kind of some carrying numbers over. Very last one. What do we do to both sides? Yep.
Subtract 9.17.
Nice. So I'm going to try to line up my number over here. Subtract 9.17. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. So you have that. And now we do 8 minus 7 is 1. And 5 minus 1 is 4. Copy down the decimal point right there. And 4 minus 9. Ugh.
5.
So it's kind of like we're borrowing and making that a 14, making this a 0. So 14 minus 9 is
13.
What?
5. No,
5. Yep, 5.
13?
And when we do that, you could look at it also now like, all right, I'm copying down this equal sign, and then these both cancel out. So our final answer is x equals 5.41. Any questions?